The Lockman Foundation has come out with some new products recently, and we're going to look at one of them here. This is the large print compact Bible, and it is in the NASB 2020 update. So this is, as they say here, what they call a compact Bible. It's actually a very similar size to another Bible I've talked about before, the Royal Reference. If you look at these two together, you can see a very similar size. I would characterize this as kind of a small personal size or a hand size Bible. It's actually a little bit bigger than, say, a Pitt Minion, for example, a little bit wider than that. Very similar height, though, and also a little bit thicker than a Pitt Minion. But you'll see what the font is like, the size of the font and everything when we get inside. Let's just quickly take a look at this slip cover that it comes in. Very simple. This does say here it's in the purple Leathertex, and they do have different cover options available, various colors. They have purple, red, brown, blue, teal, and also a genuine leather black cover. So some nice variety of color options, and we'll look at that in a little bit. I just want to quickly show you the back of the box here. Tells a little bit about the Bible, and it does say here, listing out the features, it is a 9-point type size. So you get a little bit of a look at it here. It is a line match type setting, which is really nice. It's also single column, which I know will appeal to a lot of people. Paragraph formatting. It is a black letter text for the words of Christ. Has some book introductions in the back of the Bible. And as we said, it is the 2020 update of the NASB. Another nice thing about these Bibles, these large print compact, in the leather soft, they retail for only about $25. And you can get it for less than that on a website like christianbook.com. So let's take a look at this Bible a little bit more. It does say it is a purple leather text that we're looking at here, and I'm really glad they sent me this color. It definitely is a nice contrast to some of the other colors that they've sent to me. And my wife, when she first saw this, was really pleased with the color. She really likes purple. And you can see it's kind of what I would call kind of a muted purple. It's not real bright. That leather text has a real nice look to it. This is a imitation leather, but very affordable. And it actually looks and feels very nice. So gives you a good look at the green pattern they put on there. The spine is what I think they would call a blind stamp. So it doesn't have any color to it, but I think that looks really good. I am kind of working in low light today, so sorry if it is a little bit dim, but I think that gives you a pretty good look at it. It does have these tooled hubs, as well as Holy Bible. It tells you that it is the 2020 update, large print, and the NASB from the Lockman Foundation. It also has an ISBN number on the back cover here. It has gold gilt page edges, and it has 2 ribbons that are single-sided satin. This very nice purple ribbon here, I really like that color, and then a black ribbon. So great color scheme. For something that retails for only $25, I think it just right off the bat looks really nice. But here's the thing I really am impressed with Lockman Bibles. This is a paste down liner, but you'll notice it is not a paper paste down. It is actually some sort of a vinyl type material. And I think it even has some reinforcement tape here. I think that this is very well constructed and should be very, very durable. So for that price, I really think Lockman is doing a good job in their Bibles with giving you something that's very heavy duty for the price. So let's take a look at what's inside here. You have some cardstock at the beginning, and then the title page. Here's the copyright page. It is printed in China, and this is the first printing of this particular format of the NASB 2020 large print compact Bible. Here's the foreword to the NASB 2020. Then you have the books of the Bible listed. At the end, you will see there are introductions to the books of the Bible. Here's the Old Testament title page. And here is what it looks like when you get to the biblical text. It is, as they said, a paragraph format, single column. It is a 9-point font, and it is line matched. They do also have translator notes at the bottom of the page. So just looking at this right off the bat, there's a lot to like about it. A 9-point font is a nice size for this size Bible. The ghosting is not too bad either. The paper is actually pretty decent. When you get into the book of Psalms, you could see what the ghosting is like in there. Again, it's not too bad. In some lighting, it might be more noticeable. But the one thing I will say that I think is not my favorite thing about this layout is just kind of how cramped it looks to me. You can see that the page numbers there at the top of the page are very, very close to the text. And even the translator notes, the line there is so close to the biblical text. And for example, what we're looking at here at the bottom of this page, I just don't think that's an ideal formatting design there, where you have the heading of the psalm, the subheading, and then just one line of the psalm here, and then the second line right up there. I mean, to me, that just visually is not very appealing. So the large print thin line 2020, I've looked at this before. The large print ultra thin is actually what they call it in the NASB 2020, was designed by 2K Denmark. And I looked at these fonts, and they are very similar, but I'm not convinced that they're the exact same font. And also, I just feel like if 2K Denmark had designed this, it would have probably been designed a little bit more optimally. So I kind of wish that they had gone with maybe even a smaller font slightly and just had a little bit more spacing, not only with the page numbers and the footnotes, but also with the line spacing itself. I think you can get away with a little bit smaller font if you have good breathing room on the page. It really does help with readability. Well, let's keep going through this Bible. Overall, that 9-point font is quite easy to read, I will say. I'm more talking about the visual look of it with these other things that I'm mentioning. Another thing I notice about the NASB editions, these 2020 Lockman Bibles, is that they have very nice bold verse numbers. And even in paragraph setting here, you can see the verse numbers stand out quite well. They're bold. So that's great. Even though it's a paragraph, nice reading format, you could definitely use this in church or in teaching settings. When we get to the end of the Old Testament here and into the New Testament, you have the New Testament title page. And here's the book of Matthew, and then we'll get a look here at the words of Christ. As it said, it is a black letter text. And I will say, even though I was complaining a little bit about the format, the trim size of this page is actually really good, especially with the poetry. You do get some nice long lines of poetry there. And just the overall readability of this is quite good. Again, I just think they could have done a little bit better with the spacing on the page. When you get to the end of this Bible, after the book of Revelation, you have these introductions to the books of the Bible. So this is all 66 books with a paragraph on each of them, giving an introduction. And after the book introductions, you just have a little bit more cardstock and the end sheet here. And again, that really nicely done paste down liner. So for a Bible that you can get for less than $25 probably, I really think it's going to be really appealing to a lot of people. It may not be absolutely perfect, but the fact that you don't have to spend much and it's very well constructed and very easy to carry around and still quite readable, I think is just going to be very appealing to a lot of people. But let me show you compared to some other Bibles. So first of all, the personal size Quintel. You can see here we are looking at a similar height of these Bibles. I think that the NASB 2020 is a little bit wider maybe, but I'll show you what I meant about breathing space. This Bible has better line spacing, I would say, and just overall a little bit better spacing with the headings and everything. And what you see with that, honestly, is overall a more readable text in this one than this. It's just a little bit more pleasing to the eye when you first look at this and as you're reading through. I think you're less likely to have eye strain looking at this Bible for a long time than this one. If you compare it, though, to the Royal Reference that I showed earlier, the font in this NASB is definitely, I would say, larger, but this one has a reference system, as did the PSQ. So here's a pit minion, and the pit minion is definitely a little bit smaller. It's not as wide. And this is where this NASB is actually a larger, more readable print than another Bible that we're looking at. The Pit Minion has a noticeably small font. However, it does have a reference system in it. But you can see there that in comparison with these two, this is actually a darker font than the Pit Minion and a larger font. And then finally, I wanted to compare it to a personal size Christian Standard Bible. Again, you can see that the NASB we're looking at is actually wider. It's interesting, this is called compact, and this is called personal size, but the personal size in this case is actually a little bit smaller than the compact, even thinner a little bit. But when you look at the format, the CSB has a double column format. And the NASB does have a larger font than the CSB here. The CSB, though, is a nice dark font in this particular edition. They did a really good job with the printing of this. And it's actually about as readable as the NASB we're looking at here. Let's look at some prose. This, I think, was designed by 2K Denmark, and I would say it is a little bit better overall design than this one here. But again, I'm not saying it's bad. And also, when you're in the New Testament in the CSB, you do have red letter for the words of Christ, whereas you don't have that in the NASB 2020 that I have here. So those are just some differences I wanted to point out. But overall, as I said, if you want something that is affordable, the NASB 2020 text, something that's nice and really for your money quite durable, there are a lot of nice, really pretty cover options, very simple, very usable. That is a look at the NASB large print compact Bible. And if you have any questions or comments about this Bible, I'd love to see that in the comments section below. Thank you so much for taking a look at this with me from A Frisch Perspective.